Solo leveling Ch.7 to 9. Forbidden magic and the rise of the undead army. What? It happens when a desperate hunter reaches beyond the laws of life and death and dares to command the very souls of the fallen. In chapters 7 to 9 of Solo Leveling, witness Noah's transformation from a lone survivor into a wielder of forbidden magics, an army of the dead and unlocking powers long thought lost to legend. That all begins with a single choice: cornered, bleeding, alone. Noah opens the Codex of Mortem, and the dungeon will never be the same again. But death is only the beginning. As ancient powers stir and skeletons rise with minds of their own, Noah must face more than monsters. He must face the consequences of becoming a death. Mage. An elite warrior awakens. A hidden passage opens, and an undead army begins to march. This is not just a fight for survival. It's the start of a new era, forged in blood and bone. Welcome to Solo Leveling chapters 7 to 9, Forbidden Magic and the Rise of the Undead Army. Let's dive in. Solo Leveling Ch.7. Noah unleashes the forbidden art of death magic as the dust settles after the brutal dungeon ambush. Noah stands amidst a pile of bones and shattered weapons. His body is battered, his mana nearly depleted, and his mind teeters on the edge of collapse. The stench of blood lingers in the air. His comrades are either dead or dying, and the enemies keep coming. The monsters are relentless, ghoulish figures with claws like razors, their eyes glowing with primal hatred. Their numbers swell in the darkness, surrounding Noah like wolves circling a dying stag. He's alone now, but even in this hopeless moment, Noah's hand trembles, not in fear, but in hesitation. Deep within his satchel lies something forbidden, a relic sealed in old cloth, pulsating with cold, dark energy. The forbidden Codex of Mortem. He wasn't supposed to use it. It was a last resort, a cursed tome once used by heretic to bind the souls of the dead. He'd stolen it from the guild's hidden archive, believing he could control its power. But now, with death closing in, control no longer matters. Noah unwraps the codex with trembling fingers. The runes on its black cover shift as if alive. Sensing his fear and his resolve, he begins to chant. The language is ancient. Guttural syllables slice through the air like broken glass. Shadows ripple at his feet. The temperature drops, and the howls of the monsters falter, sensing a change in the dungeon's rhythm. Then silence. Suddenly, the ground cracks open beneath Noah. An enormous sigil etched in pale violet light spreads outward like a spiderweb. The bones of fallen adventurers rattle violently, then rise. One by one, the dead return not as mindless husks, but as skeletal warriors infused with unholy energy. Their eye sockets glow with Noah's mana. They turn toward him, awaiting his command. The monsters roar and charge, but they're too late. Noah whispers a single word, "Rise," and chaos erupts. Death magic unleashed. The undead surge forward. With weapons they once wielded in life, they now strike with unyielding rage. Skeleton archers, fire volleys of cursed arrows. Shield bearers form a phalanx that blocks the enemy advance. Noah, at the center of the carnage, channels more energy from the codex. His eyes flicker with violet light, and his aura is no longer human. It's something older, something feared. He is no longer just an adventurer. He is a death mage. The monsters shriek in agony as spectral chains wrap around their limbs, dragging them into the ground. One of the dungeon's elite, a giant ogre-like beast, charges with a mace the size of a tree. Noah lifts a finger, and 5 skeletons leap onto the beast. One pierces its throat, another slices its Achilles. The ogre falls, and Noah drives a spear of shadow through its heart. His power, it's growing. With each death, with each kill, more souls bend to his will. But there's a cost. Blood begins to trickle from Noah's nose. His hands shake. The codex demands a toll his life force in exchange for control. Every spell ages him seconds at a time. He can feel his body weakening, but he refuses to stop. Because beyond the battlefield, he sees her. A memory returns. A flash from the past. His sister, Elise, the reason he fights. The reason he became a hunter in the first place. Captured by a rogue guild, sold to a black market dungeon raid as a human sacrifice. He wasn't there to protect her. He never forgave himself. Now every monster he slays is a step closer to vengeance and redemption. He clenches his fist and channels the codex one more time. A new incantation. Stronger, darker. The dead warriors tremble, then merge. Bone fuses to bone. Magic flows like molten steel. A new abomination rises, a bone colossus, 10 feet tall, crowned with a horned skull helm. Its body made of hundreds of fused skeletons. Its arms end in jagged blades. It roars with unholy fury. The remaining monsters hesitate. Even they fear what stands before them. Noah points, the colossus obeys. What follows is not a battle. It is annihilation. The aftermath. When the last enemy falls, silence returns. Noah drops to one knee, gasping. The codex hovers briefly in the air before slamming shut with a thunderous clap. The sigil beneath him fades. All around him lie the remains of the undead's army. Now dust. He's alive. Barely. But he's changed. The death magic lingers in his blood. He can feel it moving inside him, whispering temptations, promising power beyond comprehension. Is this the price of survival? He doesn't answer. Instead, he rises slowly, limping toward the exit of the dungeon, his shadow longer than before, darker, heavier. Noah is no longer just another hunter, he's something else, something the guilds will fear, and the world is not ready. That was Chapter 7 of Solo Leveling, where Noah unleashes the forbidden art of death magic, transforming from a desperate survivor into a rising force of necromantic power. What will this mean for his journey? Can he control the darkness within him? Or will it consume everything he's trying to protect? Don't forget to like and subscribe for more manhwa recaps and hit the bell so you never miss an upload. Chapter 8 is going to be even darker. Until then, stay sharp, hunters. Solo Leveling Ch.7. Bloodshed in the dungeon, and a new skeleton awakens in the wake of his terrifying transformation in Chapter 7. Noah emerged from the depths of the dungeon alive but changed forever. With death magic coursing through his veins and the forbidden codex whispering in his mind, the line between man and monster has begun to blur. But what awaits him next is far more dangerous than he expects. In Chapter 8 of Solo Leveling, the dungeon bleeds, Noah's enemies regroup, and a terrifying new force is born, one that even Noah struggles to control. Part 1. The dungeon strikes back. The silence following Noah's forbidden spell is short-lived. Just as he tries to catch his breath, the dungeon begins to shift. The very walls tremble. Cracks appear in the stone, and from the shadows, new figures emerge. But these aren't just more monsters, they're intelligent. A dark-cloaked figure, taller than the rest and carrying a staff carved from black crystal, steps forward. His name isn't spoken, but his aura is undeniable. This is a dungeon commander, an elite being created to maintain the balance and order within a living dungeon. The commander snarls in a language Noah doesn't understand, and dozens of bloodthirsty creatures begin pouring into the chamber. The air grows heavy with the scent of rot and metal. Noah, weakened from summoning the bone colossus earlier, can barely stand. His vision blurs, his mana core flickers, but the codex pulses again, offering him power at a cost. He reaches for it, but something else happens. Part 2. The broken skeleton moves. From the pile of shattered bones nearby, a strange energy starts to rise. One of the fallen skeletons, a knight who once served in the undead army Noah saw. Twitching, its pieces begin to float, drawn together not by Noah's magic, but by something older. The bones reassemble rapidly, but they're different now, sleeker, denser, glowing faintly with red lines coursing through them like veins. Then, with a violent jolt, the skeleton awakens. But this isn't one of Noah's puppets. This is something new. It looks toward Noanbaus. Part 3. The skeleton that thinks. Noah stumbles backward. Confused, he didn't cast a resurrection spell. This skeleton reanimated itself. It's intelligent. Its eyes flicker with awareness. A system message flashes in Noah's vision. You have unintentionally created a unique servant, Bloodbone Elite, bound by instinct, not spell. This creature is autonomous. Caution is advised. The codex didn't summon this one. Noah's own Mano, twisted and warped from overuse, has sparked an accidental evolution. The skeleton, now dubbed the Bloodbone Elite, grabs a fallen greatsword, slams it to the ground, and lets out a silent war cry. Then it charges forward faster and stronger than anything Noah had seen before. And just in time. Part 4. Blood in the dungeon. The battle erupts. The dungeon commander fires spells from his staff, black fire, chain lightning, summoning portals, but the Bloodbone Elite weaves through the attacks like a dancer of death. One by one, it slices through the monster horde, each kill sharper and more precise than the last. Meanwhile, Noah regains his footing and begins resummoning lesser skeletons. But this time, he doesn't use the codex. He channels mana directly through his coruscant instability, but gaining more control. For the first time, he's not just summoning the dead. He's leading them, with Noah commanding from the rear, and the Bloodbone Elite carving through the front lines. The tide turns, but it comes at a price. The Bloodbone Elite, while powerful, is unpredictable. At one point, it kills a monster, then turns its gaze toward Noah for a brief second. Its loyalty is not complete. Its will is its own. Part 5. The commander falls, but the door opens. After an intense exchange of blades and spells, the Bloodbone Elite engages the dungeon commander directly. The two clash in a brutal fight, magic against instinct, precision against rage. Dona, too exhausted to help, watches as the Bloodbone Elite shatters the black staff, severs the commander's arm, and drives its greatsword through the monster's chest. The dungeon commander lets out a final screech, and its body crumbles into dust. The dungeon trembles again, but this time, surrender. The hidden door at the far wall creaks open. A system message appears. Hidden path unlocked. Blood-thrown passage. Noah stares into the black corridor beyond. The broken door. This isn't the end of the dungeon. It's only the beginning. Part 6. Consequences of death magic. As the dust settles, Noah approaches the Bloodbone Elite. It kneels again, but this time he hears it speak. Not in words, but in thoughts. A voice inside his mind. More will awaken. You are the harbinger now. Noah recoils. More creatures like this, autonomous, undead. He realizes that his use of forbidden death magic hasn't just saved him, it's broken the laws of the world. What was once impossible is now loose. Intelligent undead, bound not by spells, but by fate. He looks at his hands, the veins now faintly glowing purple. What is he becoming? Set up next chapter, and that's where chapter 8 ends. A new skeleton awakens faster, smarter, deadlier. The dungeon is far from finished, and Noah's transformation is just beginning. With the hidden blood-throne passage open, what lies ahead may be darker than anything he's faced so far. But one thing is clear. Noah is no longer just a hunter. He's becoming something the world has never seen. If you enjoyed this chapter recap, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell for updates. Chapter 9 promises even more secrets, more blood, and the first hint of a true enemy watching from beyond the veil. See you in the next video, hunters. Solo leveling Ch.7. The undead army grows. Skeleton knights join the fight. Previously in solo leveling, Noah unlocked the terrifying power of necromancy, unintentionally awakening a powerful autonomous warrior at the Bloodbone Elite after defeating a dungeon commander and unlocking the secret Bloodthrone passage. Noah takes his first step deeper into the heart of the dungeon. But in Chapter 9 the story escalates. Noah's army of the dead is no longer just disposable bones and mindless puppets. A new breed of undead steps onto the battlefield and dying, disciplined, and clad in ancient armor. The skeleton knights have arrived. Part 1 into the Bloodthrone passage. Noah moves cautiously through the Bloodthrone passage. The air here is colder, older. The walls are carved with symbols in a forgotten language, ritualistic and disturbing. Red torches burn with a silent flame. It's no longer just a dungeon. It feels like a tomb, or a cathedral for the dead. Following closely behind him is the Bloodbone Elite, his first autonomous undead creation. Silent, ever-watchful. Suddenly, a message flashes before Noah's eyes. System alert. You have entered an ancient grave domain. Hostile undead activity ahead. Before he can react, the ground beneath him rumbles and massive coffins rise from the floor. The lids slide open, revealing armored corpses, still gripping their weapons. These are no mere skeletons. They are skeleton knights, and they do not bow. Part 2, Fight or Command. As the knights rise, their armor clinks and rattles. Their glowing eyes scan Noah with suspicion. One steps forward, a towering figure with a blackened greatsword and a dented helm. It lets out a hollow roar and charges. Noah instinctively dodges, barely avoiding a cleaving strike that splits the stone floor behind him. He tries to command them, using basic necromancy, but they resist. These aren't his summons. They are remnants of ancient warriors who once ruled this domain. Their will is their own. Noah realizes something important. He must defeat them in combat to earn their allegiance, so he gives the order. Bloodbone. Break their line. The Bloodbone Elite charges with deadly grace, intercepting two knights. The clash of undead steel against undead steel echoes through the passage. Meanwhile, Noah activates a forbidden incantation from the Codex, summoning 5 lesser skeletons to aid in the battle. It's an undead war inside an undead fortress. Part 3, The Challenge of Honor. Despite being outnumbered, the skeleton knights fight with military precision. They block, counter, parry, and even reposition themselves strategically, almost like they're reliving ancient drills. One of Noah's skeletons is decapitated. Another is shattered by a flail. Only the Bloodbone Elite holds his ground. Barely. Noah sees it now. Brute force won't win. These knights value strength, but they revere honor and command presence more. So, in a risky move, Noah dispels his lesser summons and steps into the arena alone. He slams his staff into the ground and challenges the leading knight directly. If I defeat your champion, will you kneel? The knights pause. For a moment they seem to understand, and then it begins. Part 4, Noah vs. the Black Sword Knight. The lead knight steps forward. Its armor is cracked but enchanted. Its blade drips with ghostly energy. Noah can feel the centuries of battle experience radiating from its aura. The duel is brutal. Noah fights with a mix of necromantic magic and physical agility. He dodges heavy blows, conjures shadow spikes to disrupt his enemy's footing, and even uses the Codex to briefly bind the knight's limbs in ghost chains. But it's not enough. He's losing ground. His mana is fading. His vision blurs. Then he remembers something. The blood-packed runa technique from the Codex that allows him to fuse his energy temporarily with an undead. He activates it. The Bloodbone Elite glows and in a flash teleports next to Noah, sharing strength, awareness, and vision. Together, they fight as one. Part 5, Victory and the Vow. The tide turns. With the Bloodbone's reflexes and Noah's cunning magic, they overpower the Black Sword Knight. In the final clash, Noah disarms the knight with a blast of necrotic force, then presses his blade to its throat. He doesn't kill it. Instead, he kneels and offers his hand. Your honor remains. Join me and we'll reclaim this world. There's a long silence. Then, the knight nods and drops its sword. One by one, the other skeleton knights follow suit. Kneeling before Noah, a new system message appears. You have gained control over the Order of the Forgotten Blade Skeleton Knight Unit unlocked. Undead Legion rank upgraded tier 2. Disciplined undead Noah can now summon skeleton knights at will. Unlike normal undead, these retain formation tactics, and even field awareness. He now has an army. Part 6. The true war begins. As Noah gathers his new forces, he senses something else stirring deeper in the dungeon. The Blood Throne awaits, but someone, or something, is watching him. Another system message appears. A greater being has taken interest in your power. Warning: Necromancer class host detected, realm boundary breach imminent. Noah looks up. The ceiling of the Blood Throne passage begins to crack. Red mist seeps in. Somewhere beyond this dungeon, a higher power is watching. The next challenge will not be one he can face with just skeletons. It will take everything he has. And more outros set up next chapter. And that's how chapter 9 ends, from a lone survivor to the commander of a rising undead legion. Noah is no longer just fighting to stay alive, he's fighting to reshape the battlefield. With the skeleton knights now under his control, the question is no longer if he will survive, but how far he'll go. But with greater powers watching and realm boundaries breaking, the real war is only beginning. Want to see what awakens next? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for chapter 10, because the Blood Throne is calling.